This is a working electric fence, drawn as one clean circuit. Watch the energizer pulse, then follow the current all the way around the loop. This is how to wire electric fence the right way, start to finish. An energizer, a live fence wire, the ground beneath it, and the animal that closes the loop. Let's take it apart, piece by piece. An electric fence is not a wire that shocks on its own. It is a big, open circuit, and it only works when something completes it. Start at the energizer, sometimes called the charger. It takes your power and fires a short, high-voltage pulse about once a second. It has just two terminals. One is marked fence. The other is marked earth, or ground. The fence terminal feeds the live wire. That wire runs along your posts, held clear of them by insulators all the way around. Nothing touches it, so nothing happens yet. The circuit is open. Then an animal leans in and touches the wire. Now, the pulse has a path. It flows out of the energizer, down the fence, and through the animal into the soil. From the soil, it travels back to your ground rods, and up the earth wire, home to the energizer. The loop is closed. That closed loop is the shock. Before we go deeper, one quick thing. The editor on screen is free. It runs in your browser, and it is the first link in the description. Open it and sketch your own fence run as we go. No install, no sign up. Right, now the part everyone gets wrong. The earth. This is the single most important part of an electric fence, and the one that fails most often. Here's why. The pulse has to travel back through the soil, into your ground rods, and home to the energizer. If that return path is weak, the whole circuit is weak. You can have a perfect live wire and still feel barely a tickle. The fix is more earth. Drive several ground rods deep into the soil and space them well apart, not bunched in one spot. Wet, deep soil carries the pulse far better than dry surface dirt. Then bond the rods together and run that back to the energizer's earth terminal. When people say a fence is not hitting hard, the earth is almost always the reason. Add rods before you touch anything else. Two more pieces make the live side behave. First, insulators. Every post is a place the fence can leak. Wood, steel, concrete, touch the live wire straight to any of them. In the wet, current bleeds away to ground before an animal ever arrives. So the wire never touches a post. It rides on an insulator at every one. That is the insulator's whole job. Keep the live wire floating. Second, the dry soil trick. In sandy or bone-dry ground, the soil barely conducts, so the return path struggles. The answer is a fence earth return system. You alternate live wires and earth wires up the fence. Now an animal bridges a live wire to an earth wire directly, and the shock no longer leans on the dry ground at all. Now, powering the energizer and protecting it. Energizers run three ways. Straight off mains power, off a 12-volt battery, or off a solar panel charging that battery. Handy out in a field with no outlet. If you want the solar side in depth, there's a full solar wiring video link for you. Two guards matter. First, lightning. A fence is a long wire in an open field, a magnet for surges. A lightning diverter, fitted between the energizer and the fence, sends a strike to its own ground rod instead of through your energizer. Second, testing. Never trust a fence by hand. A cheap fence tester clips onto the line and reads the voltage, so you know it's truly live and how hard. Let's build the idea in the editor, so the loop is obvious. I will drop a source on the left, a switch beside it, a load on the right, standing in for the fence and the animal, and a ground along the bottom. Every symbol snaps to the grid, evenly spaced. Watch the shape come together, something to drive the circuit, something to use it, and a return path home. That is the exact same loop as the fence. A source, a load, and a way back to the start. Here is the part that makes it click. We open a ready-made circuit and run a live simulation right on top of the diagram. Real voltages and currents appear on every wire. And notice, current only flows where the loop is closed. Break the path anywhere, and the flow stops dead. That is your electric fence in one idea. An open fence wire just sits there, doing nothing. The animal closes the loop through the soil, and only then does current run. Good earthing is simply making that return path easy, so the pulse comes home hard. Everything you would draw a real fence with is already here. There's a whole symbol library, sources, switches, grounds, connectors, meters, searchable, and free to drop on the canvas. So you can lay out your actual run. The energizer, the live wire, each ground rod, the diverter. Label the terminals, explore a clean picture, and take it to the field. It beats a sketch on the back of a feed bag. One honest word on safety. An electric fence is high voltage by design. A proper energizer pulses instead of holding steady, and that is what keeps it safe for livestock, but it still commands respect. Follow your local rules on fencing, and never mix it up with mains wiring if that is not your trade. This video explains the circuit, so the diagram makes sense. Here is the whole loop once more. Energizer, live wire, animal soil, ground rods, and home. Every part now doing its job. So that is how to wire electric fence without the mystery. An energizer fires the pulse. The live wire carries it, floating on insulators. The animal closes the loop through the soil. And your ground rods bring it home. Get the earth right, and everything else follows. Weak fence? Add more ground rods. First, the editor is free at circuitdiagrammaker.app. Lay out your own fence and share it. If this made electric fencing finally click, subscribe. More wiring tutorials are on the way. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there.